ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Esports Action in the big 2026. We have more League of Legends for you. Game 1 saw your Varsity Trojans coming through with a big win that was hard fought, and we almost saw a comeback through the mid game there. And so a lot of exciting action all the way through. Joining me today, of course, Ethan Go in the studio. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. We're having a great time, and we are moments away from a draft here, so we're gonna get things basically set up and running. This matchup, as you can tell from the title, is the SAIT varsity team versus the Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers, which we saw the Hilltoppers in action playing Valorant a week or two ago, and so we'll see what kind of team they have prepared for us. I see a couple of emeralds and diamonds. I'm assuming emerald is higher than diamond?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no. So,
the other way around.
Yeah, it goes from plat, and then emerald, and then diamond.
Okay, copy. So we see a majority of emeralds on the other team. We got Patty 2, Treyway, Bluebill, Stan, and Kai rounding out your top 5 for the WKU team. And then for your Trojans, again, it's D4son, who we saw putting in some crazy work through top lane. Black Knight did an excellent job in the jungle role. Through the mid lane. Lechero and Ferocious Nerd, both of which played at the bot lane last game. So we'll be hopping on with all those guys as well.
Yeah.
Be standing by, and we'll see what kind of game we can get out of this. Now, the last time I checked, these two teams had very similar records as well. So we will... There's not a lot of indications on which way this game will go off the get-go, and that makes it all the more exciting for us. That is for sure.
Yep. It looks like when I was talking to the guys back in the room, it looks like we'll be looking out for their mid lane and their jungler today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for those guys, and so if the Hilltoppers are going to find success, we can assume that it would probably be through that top lane and mid lane, but you know, we have the master in D4 potentially holding that down, and so I honestly can't wait to see how this is going to end up. So we're just going to wait here shortly for that draft link, and then Ethan and I will be back to walk you through the draft, and we'll see if they end up banning a couple of those SAIT agent picks, eh? So we'll take a look. We'll be back with you so shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the draft. And ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we are on the draft screen. So Ethan, why don't you take us through what you've seen so far, what we've missed in terms of bans? What are we looking at here?
So
Looks like we got the Thresh pick on, which is good.
It looks like we're already in phase 2 of the draft. So the drafting phase is split into 2 phases. Each team picks or bans 3 champions, picks 3 champions. Then second phase hits. Rest of the draft goes through.
Okay.
Looks like we're already well on our way. It looks like we managed to get the Thresh again.
Nice.
In this game and the Aurora. I'm a little surprised that we've managed to get these two really strong picks that have worked for us in the past today twice in a row.
Yeah, both those characters were major impacts in game 1 of this little series that we have going right here. So, like you said, definitely a little surprising, but the team seems to be confident. So, who would they be banning otherwise, if not Aurora and Thresh? They obviously went with somebody else. What do you think the thinking is there?
So looking at the enemies bans here, looks like they did opt to focus on our top lane bans. It looks like they have Dr. Mundo and a Garen ban, so that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
That's something we've seen in the first few weeks of the Swiss stage here. And looks like they've gone back to it. And it looks like we have an Urgot coming out for D4 Sun here. Something he's very comfortable in, so we'll see how he plays today.
And we can probably assume that D4 would probably take over that top lane again.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is what we're looking to see here for D4 Sun in this matchup. We'll see just who he's against in the top lane with this last pick here of the night.
And it is the Ornn, which we saw D4 playing last game, correct? Oh, no, it's actually a Yorick pick. Okay.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It looks like the enemy team is looking to play more of a pick style comp, so they're looking to split the map and kind of pick off our team when they're alone on the sides here.
Okay, makes sense. And so that brings us to the end of the draft, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, beautiful. So we'll throw this back over here, and we will be waiting shortly for the beginning of the game. So we have a good idea of who's going to be picked when. We will have 2 minutes of spectator delay to sit through before the beginning of the game. So just for you viewers at home and for my vocal cords, we're going to throw this right back on the BRB screen until, again, we see, or actually, pardon me, we'll sit through the Pick Your Champions, of course, even though we had a good idea of what was going to go where during the draft, right?
Exactly.
So we're just going to see the same thing again, but let's sit through it anyway, and then we can hop over to the BRB screen while this game figures its life out, I guess, so to speak. So D4 going through his banning phase. And, yeah, what a matchup we have for you today. The WKU Hilltoppers, which Jamie O and I have a little bit of familiarity with. And we'll be waiting on the Black Knight pick here very shortly. Looks like the first pick went Malphite, and then Jarvan 4. Wonder what happened to the first 3.
Right. Looks like they're just not banning it, just to get the phase, or like the drafting phase through, and so they can just hop right into the game as soon as possible.
Perfect. So they're going to try and melt through this as quick as they can, which is perfect. But it's just such a nice cinematic, and the music just gets you super excited.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this game gets me excited. There's something about the tenseness of it that really gets me hyped up, and I like that even though, like, I felt like when we were watching the first game, it looked like SAIT had things under control, but then all of a sudden, the other team started coming back out of nowhere, and it had me on the edge of my seat. And I think that's one thing I'm really enjoying about League of Legends so far.
Exactly, and the game can really go to anyone here. One misstep could mean the entire game for either team.
Wow, yeah, seriously. The margin of error so short when we talk about these high-level players. And just like in Valorant, we talk about how one misused ability, a footstep heard at the wrong time, could spell the end of your round. Same idea here when you're playing with the top of the food chain as far as League of Legends ranks are concerned. Everything matters to the nth degree. So, teams will prepare their loadouts, we will sit through the spectator delay, and I will have a beautiful game of League of Legends for you between the SAIT Varsity Trojans and the WKU Hilltoppers. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the game is going to be upon us right now. Right this second, teams flooding their way out. Actually, we had a bit of a pause moment. It looked like briefly, but we are back at it, and we'll have the directed camera on. And so you are on. Benny Giroux here alongside Ethan Go, and it is basically time to get this matchup underway. We had a bit of a pause, I believe, and so we're just going to get things going here. Things popping off through mid lane already, and DeForson is very stealthily hiding. Can he be seen by Patty right now?
No, he cannot. So he's in the bush. So
and he pops out. Look at him. He's scary looking. He's like a spider. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is actually a pretty favored matchup for DeForson here.
Okay.
So that's why Patty's being very cautious of him in the early phase.
Wow. And Ferocious Nerd and Lechero doing their magic through the bot lane, which we saw work extremely well last game. But it ended up being the middle and top lanes that pushed the Trojans towards their victory. Stan and Kai, your defense right now for the WKU.
Looks like a pretty stable early game here. Both junglers just doing a standard full clear towards their bot side. Looks like it's not as one-sided as last game.
Much more even start here. Things a little more little more calculated, I should say, through the beginning here.
This is actually a pretty interesting move by their Amumu, so the little mummy guy on the other team. So he did a 3-camp clear on their top side into a recall, so I believe he bought something.
Okay.
So he bought a book there, so he will have a slight advantage if there is anything to happen in the bot side here.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Some early purchases being made from the Western Kentucky University, and we'll see what kind of impact that has on some of the early game here. Bluebill and I'm Sorry locked in battle there, about half health each. Ferocious Nerd and company being pushed off a little bit, and teams just happy to farm levels for now off these minions.
Right, and because of that recall, it does delay Amumu a little bit, so Trey way Hella a little bit. So our Wukong, Blank Knight, will have the first move on the Grub here, unless the Amumu opts to skip his camp, but it looks like he's able to clear it pretty fast, and he was able to meet our jungler.
Yeah, Treyway
for
was
that one.
Caught up there momentarily. He's hiding out in the bushes, able to channel out. Or not quite, as Black Knight's hot on the trail. Gonna channel his way out as well. And just the slightest gold advantage early for the Trojans. We've seen them do this multiple weeks in a row where they seem to get off on the right foot as far as gold is concerned, managing about 200 to 300 right now. Treyway going to put some work in here. Sorry, go ahead, Ethan.
Oh, for sure. It looks like they did trade one River Scuttle each, so they will manage to secure that. But now Mumu will need to go back into his jungle to clear his camps, and that means our jungler is free to look to either steal that or look for a top gank here.
So we'll see what kind of decisions Black Knight can make. They're hanging out just inside the grass here. Treyway is within eye shot. DeForson hitting the retreat a little bit. Machado and company were pushed back briefly. Some pressure from Kai and company. Patty and DeForson happy to trade blows here early. Treyway is popping in early, and that'll be a successful jump. Treyway takes out D4 on the top lane. So an excellent, that's what we were discussing earlier, the jump in from the jungler.
Exactly. Yeah, and DeForson does need to be a little bit careful when that jungler is on their side and our jungler is not able to cover him.
Got to keep eyes peeled. Those sneaky junglers causing issues here early in this game, but no ground given up here from the Trojans. Kills are even. Gold, pretty even. Round 2 underway. I'm Sorry does an amazing job of handling this middle lane. It's a ton of responsibility, I think, when you have to run a lane on your own.
Exactly.
I would much prefer to work the bottom lane because I have a buddy.
Oh yeah, it's much more fun. I think you have a lot more interactions, but it does get a little bit complicated when you need to like synergize with your partner. It looks like we might be looking at a gank in the mid lane here. No.
Treyway's on site, but it looks like he's gonna make his way out.
Looks like he's just going to go for a clear on his top side, but it looks like there might be a play happening in the bot here. We might see a dive happening from the Trojan side.
Yeah, Kai was hurt a little bit there as well. Black Knight is close by.
They are dancing a little bit around here. They're not sure what to do, but it looks like there could be a gank in the top side by their enemy jungler. It looks like he's running straight top.
He's heading right for DeForson, who has no idea what awaits him now. DeForson trying to get some big damage off on this turret. And up on to the scene is Treyway, and DeForson's in some trouble. Already down half health. Treyway and Patty putting in that work. DeForson almost out, and Treyway able to pick up his second of the game on DeForson in that top lane, having a little bit of issues as far as the jungler is concerned, and they'll take some space here.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit of a communication error, or when they saw the Mumu going topside, so he needed to be a little safer, but we'll see what they can take out in the jungle here.
Absolutely, things in the bot lane kind of staying the same, but the Trojans are going to make a move for this dragon, which we've seen them do multiple times. They love to get the first dragon off.
Indeed, and this is a pretty decent dragon. It gives you that little lightning that goes through all the champions, so the champions will get that in the team fights.
Nice. I like to just check these for myself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
5 ability haste and 5% attack speed, which is pretty fantastic and something that comes in handy, especially when you're in these multi-champion engagements. Kai and Stan from accounting have been doing an excellent job for the Kentucky team of just kind of choking down this bottom lane. Players still pretty much in the same position that they started in, and some early damage there. And DeForson, Void Grubs in as well. We discussed the Void Grubs a little bit last game, and we even saw them. They're a lot bigger than I thought they were too when they come in and attack those towers.
Exactly. It is a pretty good objective to take, especially when you want to be hitting the tower. So let's see if the enemy team will be looking to take these Void Grubs, because it is pretty good for their team comp.
Absolutely. We'll see how that works out. And just absolutely fascinating to watch them work here in the middle and when to try and pull out and when not to. And I'm sorry, with a clutch move to get out of there, and that's about as 1 HP as 1 HP can get. The official tally was 17 hit points on that one, so Aurora / I'm sorry able to make their way back for a refill of health and mana.
Yeah, but with that play, it looks like they are able to, or rather, the enemy team is able to secure that objective, because our mid laner is not able to match their mid laner for this objective. So we will have to give that up and then look for the next play, or look to keep farming and keep getting items to see when we can fight them when we have a better item advantage. And it looks like there is a fight in the mid lane, and I'm sorry.
Popping off. Kai takes out I'm sorry.
So we do need to see some more stabilization from the Trojan side here, and take fights more of on our own standards.
Oh, and Black Knight might be smelling blood in the water here. Patty's approaching that half health area, and Black Knight is in. And just like that, DeForson takes down Patty too, and this is a welcome sight for the Trojans, who've had some issues on top lane, but DeForson able to get the better of that exchange.
They should put him up more now. So when we saw the plays that happened in the top lane previously, none of the kills actually went to the Yorick, so Patty too. So that means that Daysun, or DeForson, is actually still ahead in gold.
As far as their matchup with Patty is concerned.
Exactly.
Because it was actually Treyway we saw collecting the kills on the champions.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if we look at the gold graph here on the bottom, we can see that D4 Sun is up about 300 gold, but their enemy jungler does have a lot of gold. And it looks like we're going to see some action in the mid lane.
Yeah, Black Knight's going to jump in here through mid. He's got I'm Sorry on his flank. Machado and Ferocious Nerd. Sorry, go ahead.
Nothing is happening like right now. It looks like no objectives are going to be out for a while, so we're just kind of fishing for some plays around, but nothing too serious. Looks like Black Knight might die.
Wow, Bluebill with some good damage on Black Knight, who managed to make it out of there with just about 20 health and spare change. Now Lechero and Ferocious Nerd still locked in battle here, and what an excellent job from the Kentucky team. This bot lane had a ton of success last game, actually. We saw them advance through multiple turrets, but so far the Kentucky team doing a good job holding these two guys in. And there's Treyway, who's very scarily lurking through mid. Always got to keep an eye on that one. Looks like they're making their way through top, but able to just get out of there is I'm Sorry. And there's that movement boost we talked about as well with the most recent patch. So you said this was new, that players get that movement boost out of their own base.
Exactly.
And oh my. Things popping off.
Some action in the bot lane, but it looks like nothing will come out of it as their enemy jungler is hovering in the area to keep his bot lane safe.
Yeah, you can see him just waiting in the darkness. Trojans no way to know that he's there. We'll get a retreat out of Treyway. And back through the mid lane where Bluebill already up to level 10, but so is I'm Sorry, and they will engage in some kind of battle here. I'm Sorry trying to avoid some of the spells out from this side of things. And it looks like you have a couple Trojans just inside the jungle close to the top lane, but the Thresh is going to try and make their way through the river, it looks like. And yeah, the Bluebill, one of the scarier characters on right now.
Yep. Everyone, it looks like they're trying to get a small advantage to see if they can take this dragon here.
They're unfortunately down on gold and kills at this moment, so it's one of the first times we've seen this varsity team with their backs up against the wall, and we'll see what kind of response they can give.
Looks like no one is trying to get this Drake yet. No one can get a clear advantage or priority in their lane. So we'll see what happens in the next minute or so to see if anyone's going to get picked out or what play both these teams are trying to look to make.
Try and make a move. I'm Sorry, happy to hang out through mid and try and clear some of these things out. Treyway collecting buffs for their team. They got good mobility, able to jump through a lot of these ledges and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Amumu actually just used a plant. Lets him kind of blast him across that wall there.
Yeah, good mobility. And Lechero and Ferocious Nerd have quietly made their way up. Patty 2 gets a pick on DeForson, but Black Knight is in. He does have a level disadvantage here, but he's going to be able to pull it through. So Black Knight is going to take the slay on Patty. Both players going to be stuck on the respawn screen for a minute, and Stan takes a couple of big shots. He's just about half health now. Lechero tried to bring Kai through. And for those of us at home, what does it mean when the Inferno blazes?
So that means since the second Drake was just taken, that means the third Drake will determine what the soul is going to be.
Okay.
So when either team takes four Drakes, they'll have a soul. And then the third Drake determines which soul that will be. So for this game, it'll be the Fire Drake, as you can see here in the icon in the Drake pit.
Right.
that means they'll get like a huge buff related to that dragon.
Okay. So fantastic. We'll be waiting for that as these teams, could you say, very well matched? Evenly matched, it seems so far. Neither team with a huge advantage so far.
Yep, I would say they've been pretty evenly matched. As you can see in the gold graph, it's pretty even. The enemy team has gotten very good positional advantages, so they've just gotten to fights earlier. So that is what it looks like Trojans need to work on in this game, is they need to get to the objective, to the fights much earlier, so they don't get picked out one by one.
Makes sense, and we'll see what kind of adjustments they can make as we approach the 16-minute mark of this game. The ever sneaky Treyway, keeping an eye on things from a distance. DeForson is around, and Treyway's going to try and make a move here. Potentially running right into Ferocious Nerd, but Kai is on as well. DeForson under some stress, but players able to move away. Ferocious Nerd and Black Knight decided to give chase for a moment, but they'll be happy to clear things out here and potentially take... What was this guy called again?
That is the Rift Herald, and there's actually a nickname for the Rift Herald, and that is Shelly.
Oh, so going for Shelly here. What kind of advantage does that give you?
So Shelly, you can ride Shelly to go across the map.
Wow.
It looks like the Astral comes out, and it hits our Blank Knight.
Oh my goodness.
And the counter engage from I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like he does much, and he gets engaged on instead. The Cinder flashes for him, tries to look for the kill. But it looks like they might get the return kill. A little too greedy from Blue Bill.
And nicely done. Good answer from the Trojans there. So one player down on the side of Kentucky, two down on the side of the Trojans, and they have the respawn advantage, so our players will get back into it a little bit quicker.
And that does mean that the enemy team does get the Shelly here, and we'll see how they manage to utilize Shelly in the next few minutes.
So we'll see what kind of impact Shelly will have on this game. DeForson's going to make his way back up to the top lane, it looks like. Couple of SAIT Trojans having a channel back. Hit the refill on health.
It looks like now that we're entering a little bit into the mid game, they're going to switch it up, send the bot laners to the mid lane to defend that a little bit easier, especially against a Shelly that might charge into the tower and take that.
Absolutely. Some good work here, and these teams refusing to give an inch, but about $1.5 grand gold advantage will go towards the Kentucky team.
Yep, we can see in the gold graphs that we are still a little bit even. Amumu's a little scary, he is a little fed, but we can see some play happening in mid. We can see if they get a pick here. It looks like they might be able to secure this kill.
Close last hit, and wow, Lachetto did well there, getting the last touch in on Blue Bill, and so they'll give themselves a little breathing room through the middle lane, it looks like.
Yep, able to secure that kill, a much needed kill, get that gold over to the Trojans there.
Nicely done, and they'll try and regroup things back at home base.
So really what we want to see right now is a stabilization, try to get some farm up, get some items up, get our carries, get a little bit stronger for the next fight.
So both teams going to try and collect themselves and get things rolling.
Yep, and we can see that the Drake is going to be up in a little bit here, and we'll see how these teams
And there it is.
look to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that's very unique to this game are kind of these lulls where you get into a battle and then both teams go and they kind of lick their wounds. They try to get themselves more buffed up for the next fight, and then it's just a matter of whenever they all decide to meet. And some of my favorite parts of these streams so far have been when 4 players on each side come together, and so we'll
And we
see
just
there.
saw Shelly charging up in the bot lane down there, and it looks like the SAIT Trojans will try to take this dragon as fast as possible before the rest of the enemy team can answer them.
Yeah, Kai and Treyway on the scene right now trying to slow things down. They'll see if they can get some damage done, and we are engaged. Oh my goodness. Infernal Drake was stolen. Stan account with a kill on Lechero. D-Forcing trying to put the hurt on Bluebill, and he'll do just that.
Looks like they will try to chase the Treyway Hella into their own jungle.
Oh, and good work there. I'm sorry, trying to do some big damage. Treyway, the health advantage here so far, but in comes Black Knight. And they might have something to say about this. Excellent work.
So pretty good gold swing over to the Trojans there. It is still a little bit even, and as you can see, what's the scary thing about this Yorick is that he will continue split pushing here, and they will get an advantage in the top side. And he was able to take some of our own jungle camps and farm up in that regard.
Wow, so the Kentucky team staying busy while the Trojans putting the work in. Ferocious Nerd tried to pull Patty 2 out of there, I believe, and they'll just engage. And Patty could be in a spot of trouble, but able to phase through the wall and out of trouble. So good move there while they were being pressed by 2 players. Kai and Stan doing some excellent work through this middle lane. That tower for the Trojans looks like it's close to giving up, and I'm sorry, engage with Stan and Kai, and now everybody in on the action. D4 and Black Knight available. Stan falls.
Very good picks out here from the Trojans.
And that's helping with the gold spread as well.
Exactly, and we just take these small wins and try to get a bigger advantage. As we can see, they're trying to look to take the mid lane from that kill now.
Yeah, momentum's starting to swing here, but only time will tell in who it's favor for. Trojans take out a turret, and they'll hit the strategic retreat. Treyway farming up. And Treyway has absolutely been one of the big factors here for WKU.
Yep, looks like they're now trying to stabilize things after the last fight. It has been a little bit hectic, but it looks like it's slowly starting to slow down. The next Drake isn't up for another 2 minutes. So the big objective here now is going to be that Baron. We'll see if either team wants to take that Baron.
Perfect, and we were just referencing the timers in the bottom right for those hardcore League of Legends guys that knows what they're looking at. We're just got a little over 2 minutes left on that Drake. Meanwhile, Bluebill trying to gain some space through mid. They'll have to go for the retreat in Lechero alongside Ferocious Nerd, and seems like we've kind of swapped things where we have 2 people going down the middle lane now instead of the bottom.
Exactly, and 2 people, it's much easier to defend that lane because it is the shorter lane, so people will try to take those turrets just like we did a minute ago.
And is it because of this Trojans turret that we can see on screen is so low on health that we've seen players pivot over to defend it?
Exactly, and it is a pretty important tower because it's the mid lane. If you have control over that area, you can walk freely between both sides of the map.
Gotcha. So the mid lane, very important. The Trojans trying to slow things down through middle. Meanwhile, things brewing as we lean towards the bottom area of this jungle. Treyway continuing to do what they've done all game and basically clear out the top end of the jungle here. Taking on multiple mobs at once.
And as you can see here, neither team has the advantage in terms of vision so far, but both teams being very careful, and the enemy support actually looking to take some vision space around this river here, which will be important for the Drake fight in 30 seconds.
Gotcha. Okay, so both teams starting to get ready and willing. Seems like this final Drake seems to hold a lot of value for these 2 teams as they begin to take their positions around where that dragon tends to spawn. Bluebill, Kai, Treyway, all on deck. And for the Trojans, it's Ferocious Nerd, Lechero, and Black Knight. On site, some poking damage.
Both teams looking to get a health advantage or a vision advantage around this river in time for the dragon. It looks like the Patty 2 is just looking to pressure top lane and keep D-Force in there while his team tries to look for something here in the river.
Yeah, we got the markings of a great engagement here. Multiple players from both teams on site. And the engagement begins. Kai with the poke. Ferocious Nerd is in. Black Knight using their abilities. Players down. I'm Sorry is unstoppable. Blue turret down. So that'll be something that happened on the top lane, I believe.
Right, SAIT Varsity looking to instead trade backlines, and it looks like we were able to safely peel for our ADC, and he was able to go back. Now he will need to go to top to answer their Yorick, who is just perma pushing in top. It looks like Yorick is now TPing into the river to look to join this fight.
They're going to try and take out Treyway, and they will. So that's a great run of gameplay out of I'm Sorry, who had the double kill there, and followed up with another one on Treyway, who's been a problem for these Trojans.
Pretty big win from the Trojans there. We only lost one player, Dason, from the top lane, and we were able to answer the Yorick that was split pushing in the top side there.
And it looks like the Trojans have some uncontested access to this dragon, and so it wouldn't be crazy to assume that they're going to get this here. So a very important buff at this juncture of the game. The Infernal Drake goes the way of the Trojans, and now both teams with 2 power-ups
and
from Drakes.
That means that both teams now have 2 dragons, and the next Drake will determine soul point. So, like I mentioned before, there will be 4 dragons that need to be taken by either team that will give over the soul, which is a really, really strong buff to either team. So these next 2 or 3 Drakes will be a big factor in how this game plays out.
Fantastic. So we'll be waiting on that. We have just over 4 minutes until that Drake spawns in, and we'll get to look at how these teams prepare for the Drake spawning, which, to be honest with you, was a very interesting watch. These are strategies that are so far above what I was playing this morning. I am in absolute awe of both teams here. They're doing excellent work, and my goodness, what a cerebral game.
Yeah, it looks like the red side is looking to pivot to the top side to see if they can get a pick. They have a little bit of control over the river here that the Trojans need to be a little wary of. It looks like they were able to push them off of it though. Going back to the bot lane, we'll see how D-Forsen is matching up against this Yorick, who's doing pretty well.
One Patty 2 would have quite the level advantage as well, because your damage and stuff scales with your level. Copy. D-Forsen up against it. Patty 2 able to convert. Lechero's going to hop in there, and Patty 2 took some damage. Yep. And we'll see if Patty might look to try and get out of here, and they will do exactly that. Meanwhile, red turret down. So both teams making advancements to the other's base as Treyway and Stan get the jump on Ferocious Nerd.
Yep, looks like a little bit of a fight from both sides of the map here. Their Yorick did loop around the entire way, and now we'll be meeting up in this fight here. Might be really bad for the Trojans. Looks like Blank Knight is trying to delay the fight, let I'm Sorry escape, but I'm Sorry will just have to walk out of there.
Lechero took out Patty 2. He was hiding in the grass towards
I'm
the bottom
Sorry
of the street.
able to get that, but Lechero slightly a little too short with his Q, not able to secure the Ash kill.
Super close there, and I'm Sorry went legendary for a moment there.
Yeah, so this is a really scary thing when the enemy team drafts a Yorick. So if they're if our top laner is not able to match the Yorick, we will need to send more than one person to match him, and that means we won't have a number advantage on the other side of the map. Just like we saw there, they were able to get a pick off in the top side out of their mid laner, but we just had to trade 1-for-1, and then on the retreat, we were not able to secure an advantage coming out of that.
I see. So things looking okay for the Trojans. They still have a very close gold landscape right now, and they do have the advantage in picks as well, in less than 90 seconds until that very important final dragon spawns. And as I understand it, we'll be looking very closely at who takes control of that dragon, because
Yep, as we see a pick off in the top lane. Nice pick. It looks like they were not able to, or rather the enemy team was not able to respond to it in time, and no pressure from the bot lane means that this kill was for free, and now we could be looking to see if the Trojans will want to take this Baron here.
they have the players available for it. Kai and Stan just a little too far away to become factors on this one, so they'll try and take this guy out right here, right now, and Bluebill potentially has other ideas.
Exactly, and it looks like Amumu is pinging for that Drake pit. It looks like he is wanting to give up this Baron in favor of getting a good setup for the Drake. That means the SAIT Trojans either need to go to the Drake side right away, get that set up, push out the enemy team from that side.
Yeah, I see 4 of the WKU players on location where that Drake is meant to spawn.
Looks like they're looking for a pick, but the vision plant means that they're not able to do a sneaky play, catch someone off guard. Very good play from the Trojans.
Excellent work there. Good awareness, and they'll look to try and take first position over this Drake, which is now officially on the map and part of the game, and the WKU players are going to try and make a beeline over there. They have D-Forcen and Lachero to worry about, however, and nobody able to engage the dragon yet. Ferocious Nerd, very sneaky through the grass.
Looks like D-Forcen is looking for a flank on the bottom side of the river.
Oh, and yeah, you're right, he went all the way around. And getting caught out by the vision of Patty there momentarily, able to dodge the ability. And the WKU team is putting a hurt on this Drake, and so that final dragon does go the way of the WKU team, and we discussed the importance of it, and we'll see what kind of game this will shape out to be, as the WKU squad should have the Drake advantage here. You said they get a soul advantage, which is a pretty impressive buff.
Yep, and it's a very nice try to steal that Drake away by Blank Knight. But having a Thresh round means that he's able to go for that steal for free with the Thresh Lantern, saving him, getting him out of there.
Excellent work there. D-Forcen just melting through the minions through bot lane.
Yep, and we still have the Baron buff, so we will have the advantage for a little bit here. And we'll see what SAIT plans to do with that as they look to make a play in the mid lane, chunking out their Ashe, Stand from account. Kai taking similar damage, the Amumu going in, taking the ulti, Ashe Arrow comes out. And
oh my.
I'm sorry, goes down, but the Amumu is traded instead.
3-on-2 here now.
Lots of heal, Hook comes out, they manage to take another kill. Ferocious Nerd looking for the flash, manages to take one. Now Blank Knight is going in, flashing in, trying to steal another one.
Lachero again!
Everyone is flashing, trying to secure these kills. And it looks like we are out on top, but it looks like the Patty 2 is looking to take some more.
Yeah, in a 1v2 situation right now, all of the WKU players stuck in the respawn screen. Trojans have a couple players up.
And we can see how strong that Patty 2 is, but we were able to manage to take the mid lane tower with that one. And we'll see if our team is able to come out on top, and the Urgot ult comes out and secures the kill. Very nice play.
I know in Valorant an ace means that one player killed the whole team. What does an ace mean in League?
So for League, an ace just means that the entire enemy team is taken down.
Oh, okay, okay. Meanwhile, Trojans could potentially be in some trouble here. They're going to have to clear these minions out of their home base and try to gain some space.
Yep, and the inhibitor does come up, but this means that now that it's down, there's going to be inhibitor minions that are really strong minions that'll push down that lane.
Right, so those supercharged minions will be going through the top lane because that's where the inhibitor was broken.
Exactly, and you can see
Got
that up here in the dot indicated. It's that big guy right
Oh, there they are. So they are on their way, and the Trojans have their work cut out for them here.
It looks like we're trying to make a play in the mid lane again. Looks like they managed to catch out the enemy ADC and managed to take that kill. Very nice play from the Trojans.
Yeah, it's a nice pick through the middle, and now they're rolling 4 deep. And they're going to look to try and potentially take out an inhibitor of their own. Trying to make a play here. Patty, Kai, and Bluebill on location at the top.
Yep, and this advantage does mean they were able to secure and steal some of that red side jungle.
Excellent work.
And since they have control over this side of the jungle, they might look for a pick here or play a little safe since they do have the top lane pushing out, so they will have to answer that. And it'll be pretty important for them to kind of push that out before the Drake comes up, because if they let the enemy minions push into the base, I mean, the minions could be winions and win the game.
Oh, man, that is a cold line. I like that. All right, so we'll see if the Trojans can hold off the potential winions here. And they look to be converging, or at least attempting to converge here on the WKU side of the map.
Yep.
Quickly approaching the 40-minute mark.
So we did see some recalls come out from our ADC, who's able to get some items out. And he is pretty strong here, so we also have some bounties on our players there. So this next fight could determine the game.
So some big moments here, and we'll see which team can come out on top. Tense moments.
You can see a lot of pings, looking for a pick, looking to take control over the jungle, trying to get an advantage in time for this objective.
I can see 5 Trojans on the screen right now. They're conglomerating here. Another Baron spawns.
Yep, and looks like that we have expended our mid ultimate, so we won't have that for this fight. So that's something to look out for. And as you can see on our top side, that Yorick pushing down on the top lane.
Oh my goodness.
So someone will need to recall and match that guy before he takes the game.
And a couple players electing to channel out. There's a stun on Ferocious Nerd, who's not going to get the jump out that he wanted, and the first defender back is Black Knight. And a couple of these teams happy to retreat, and they'll go for the buff off the Baron instead.
It looks like the red team will be able to secure this Baron for free as they have that top lane pushing, and now Trojans will need to be careful while this buff is up.
And it looks like the Trojans were able to pick up another Drake as well, so now it's 3 aside.
So we are now full soul point.
Wow.
That means both teams now have the soul, or rather one more Drake to the soul. So the next Drake will determine who gets soul and potentially determine the game.
Very exciting stuff, and so for those keeping track at home, that's only 4 minutes away, and we'll see what these teams can come up with in those 4 minutes in terms of getting themselves ready.
Yeah, it looks like we still have a 3k gold lead on the SAIT Trojans. Everyone is starting to get up to their 4th item, potentially their last item for the ADC, as we can see in the bottom here. And we just need to be a little careful and not get caught, as we've seen that the red team has been fantastic at finding before, but the Trojans have managed to get their advantages as well throughout the game.
So we are set up for quite a thrilling finish. No team has a clear advantage at this juncture. And the inhibitor respawns, which is nice.
Exactly, and now we don't have to worry about those big minions pushing out the lane.
So it'll be a good opportunity for the Trojans to regroup and maybe put forward an assault of their own.
Exactly.
Teams gathering through the middle lane while Bluebill works his way through top, and you see Treyway there lying in wait.
Yep, just providing a little bit of safety, potentially giving some pick potential out here. If he does manage to finish his recall, and Syndra recognizes that he may be in danger, backs off.
Excellent work, and so some tactical retreats out of the WKU squad right now.
Right, and looks like we still have about 30 seconds, 20 seconds on the Baron buff here. That means that WKU does need to find some kind of lane advantage in the next 30 seconds.
If they want to take advantage of the buff.
Exactly, but it looks like the Trojans are able to stabilize, not make some risky plays, wait out that Baron.
Yeah, excellent response from the Trojans after giving up the free Baron, but excellent work to keep things level-headed, and we'll see what the result is here shortly as a 3-on-3, potentially a 3-on-4 developing here.
Yep, it looks like that everyone is betting all their coins on that final Drake. See which team comes out on top.
Yeah, both teams kind of conglomerating near, and the WKU team is going to, looks like they're subtly going to make their way over. Minute 20 until that Drake is on the field.
Right, and we just did see that our ADC, Lechero, is now full build from that recall. That means he is the strongest he will ever be in this game. And it looks like there will be some play happening here in the blue side jungle. Enemy team lying in wait, and the Trojans have no vision, not knowing where they will be. So we'll see if they get caught out, or
and this is
now
the
they're
blue
looking
view
bot
right
side.
now.
Exactly.
Wow.
And now we see that they've been spotted, and they're chasing after our I'm sorry here, and they're trying to make a play. It looks like they don't have vision either of the Trojans. It looks like they're looking for a pick.
Black Knight! Oh no!
Blank Knight is going down. The Trojans are a little split. And they take them down, but I'm sorry with the damage comes out.
What an answer.
They can go for more here, but they need to be wary of the top laner that is taking the top side.
Another inhibitor down, or the same inhibitor. Down for WKU. And Trojans with a champion advantage, as there's 3 players with more than 30 seconds to go on their respawn. The dragon has spawned. Trojans are on location first, and so we'll see what kind of chip damage they can get going.
Exactly, and then notice that both junglers are actually down. The timer on the enemy jungler is higher, so we can potentially delay this if we want, or we can try to take this right now and see if we can secure this Drake without any of the junglers.
Okay, so 3 players on it for the Trojans. They were getting bothered by Patty there briefly, and now Bluebill is in as well, and he gets tossed out of there. Lechero does what they do best and takes out another one. And
Ferocious Nerd with a catch. He may look to get another kill for Lechero. Lechero is so strong in this game.
wow, and that's a double for Lechero right now. Meanwhile, I'm sorry, doing their work on the Drake, and this one will go to the Trojans. So a big, big Drake boost coming this way for your Trojans, and we'll see if they can leverage this advantage into some space gained.
All that the Trojans need to do now, stabilize the map. You can see all the waves are pushed into our side. So we'll need to stabilize the map and see if we can get control over this Baron. And this next fight will definitely determine the results for the game.
Pretty exciting stuff. So the Trojans hoping to push back a couple of these onslaughts from both sides, and obviously the toughest place to do that would be top, because they have to deal with those super minions.
It looks like they're trying to make a play in the mid lane. Lawless might be caught out. Ulti comes out from the Wukong.
And Kai's in
Able
trouble.
to secure it. Nice.
Great work there. It's another Trojans pick. And they'll make their way over to this Baron, and so things, momentum-wise, potentially looking up for the Trojans as they're putting together picks on top of jungle clears, on top of Drake and Baron clears.
And it looks like the red team is looking to give up the Baron in favor of taking the bottom side jungle. Let's see if they're able to take down this turret as a response.
Whoa, and all 5 Trojans coming through there. They're going to try and slow things down.
Trying to look up for a pick. We can see Ferocious Nerd trying to look for that blue bill. Blank Knight able to reach him, not able to dodge that.
Stunned off.
But I'm sorry, on the back, looking for the big damage. Syndra goes golden. They're able to secure the kill. Now they're looking for another kill.
Oh man, Black Knight's putting the hurt on him now.
I'm sorry with the damage. Now the resurrection comes out, but they should be able to secure this kill. And they might look to end the game here, as long as they keep in mind the Yorick that is pushing topside.
Alright, and they're pushing an inhibitor here. Or sorry, that's a red turret.
Now they have the inhibitor.
Oh, they're pushing hard here.
They might look to end the game with both carries on the red team down. Amumu goes in, ultis, Nautilus ultis, do they have the damage?
Oh my
Turret
goodness.
is killing them. They're looking to take down the turrets. Amumu goes back in, no damage though.
Lechero and Treyway going toe to toe.
Treyway trying to get something done. But
What an onslaught.
Trojans are just on. It's a base race.
Oh!
It's a base race.
Oh, the Trojans do it.
The Trojans managed to win the base race.
Oh my goodness, that is probably the closest result that I've seen so far. Both bases under damage and a last-second finish. Wow, you are kidding me. That is incredible.
That is probably the best way to end the night. A base race with that close of a margin against a Yorick. That is, my heart is pounding right now.
So both announcers on the edge of their seats right now, and what an absolutely lovely game. So it'll be a 2-0 showing for the Trojans varsity team, and we have a special moment here for you. We're going to step away for about 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere, but we have an interview with Lechero right now here in studio, and we're going to get to the bottom of how exactly he was feeling after that big win. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and as promised, it's Benny Giroux here live with you, and sitting right next to me, one of the GOATs of the game that we just watched, Lechero, is live with me in studio. What a game. How is the team feeling after what was a pretty crazy finish?
Well, you should have seen us. It wasn't more of a victory shout. It was more of a, that game shouldn't have gone that way. What are we doing? And it was honestly quite a disaster. So I'm just happy we won that, to be honest.
Totally fair, and things definitely looked dicey at several parts during the game. So when things are looking tough and your back is up against the wall, what is kind of the message around the team? Are you just trying to keep everyone focused, or trying not to lose tempers or anything like that?
The question that always comes to my head is whether or what to do next, right? So we just lost the fight, we just lost Baron, we just lost Dragon. The question is, okay guys, how do we want to play this out for the next 5 minutes? Are we just farming? Are we just waiting? Are we trying to delay? Or are we actually trying to look for a pick and trying to go in, right? So a couple places there, like when they got Baron buff, we were just trying to delay. Luckily enough, they didn't really utilize it and, take our towers or anything like that. They kind of played really passively. So luckily enough, we were able to get through that. But our main concern was Yorick. How are we dealing with Yorick split pushing?
Right.
Because we didn't really have an answer to that. Our team comp was focused more on team fighting, especially with the Urgot. Like he was unable to actually match the Yorick well at all. So we always had to accommodate for that. So Yeah, so it's always about just asking the next question about how are we going to play this through. And I think that we somehow managed to do that, luckily.
Yeah, amazing. Well, fantastic work. Probably the closest thing we can get to a photo finish here in League of Legends. So we want to say thank you to Lechero for stopping by and blessing us with his presence. And that'll be some amazing work. And you can catch these varsity guys back in action in 2 weeks' time, because next week we'll be covering the academy team. So thank you so much for stopping in. And if you want to give anybody a shout out, you can do so right now.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for having me. I wish we had a better performance for you guys today. My Sivir needs some work, but it was a great pick into this team. Much thanks for everyone who was watching. I think my family's watching at home, so thanks to you guys as well. I'll give you a better performance next time.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.